Hey guys, Creator Mom. I just want to make a Section 8 video real quick. Landlords have this, and people, I think people in general have this misconception that there's such thing as a Section 8 house. There is no Section 8 house. There is no being set up for Section 8. First of all, it's not called like Section 8. It's called the Housing Authority, and it's called the Housing Choice Voucher. Section 8, I think, was something that was in the bill or law or something. I don't know. I'm still a bit ignorant too. But, and then they say, you see rental listings that say, we're not set up for Section 8. It's like, no, there is no setup. Stop saying that. You sound like a dumbass. There is no setup. Literally, if somebody comes to you and they have a housing choice voucher, you fill out what's called a request for tenancy form that they will give you. They already have these forms. It's so simple. It's that simple. There is no setup. There are two, as far as I know right now, like two different types. People can either get a housing choice voucher, in which whatever county they receive their voucher in, they can go and search for an apartment from any landlord within the counties and cities that this voucher applies to. The only stumbling block is landlords who do not want to take Section 8 because they think they have to be set up for it, or they don't have a Section 8 house. There is no such thing. If you are not a slumlord, your house, probably will most likely pass a Section 8 inspection. I mean, when people buy houses and stuff, they have to have them inspected too, right? Like the outlets, the windows, closets and bedrooms, windows and bedrooms. I think, and I don't even know that much about houses, as much as an educated person would know, but it is not anything besides what any normal homeowner would probably already know. So there's people with housing choice vouchers who can be accepted by any landlord who's willing. And then there is something called project-based housing, where the government or even a nonprofit agency of some sorts uses grant money from the government to purchase housing, and they develop that housing and put a low income person in there. It could be developed towards any specific population. Some project-based housing could be for specifically people who are homeless. So yeah, I used to work for an agency called Start Easy Eagle Development, and that's what we did. We applied for grants. You pull down the grants, whatever that means. It's actually a very tedious process, from what I've been told and from what I learned while working there. And they generally purchase houses that many times or sometimes need to be rehabbed or whatever. And maybe some project-based housing is also newly developed housing, like I know. So that was when I worked for that company. They bought a lot of houses in kind of like the inner city type neighborhoods. It was in Newark, New Jersey. And they rehab them. So you have to work with like contractors and shit. Get money from the government to pay for these houses and have people, homeless people, namely this one, put into them. Yeah, so there's those two types. And then, or like I was going to say before, I know near me, there was some sort of revitalization program going on where they take a certain area, right? And they develop new housing, shit that looks like townhouses, like nice looking stuff, but probably in an area that's kind of like, they're trying to revitalize the area. And then so they build that project, that the government or housing authority or whatever builds that type of housing. And when someone gets that type of housing, you don't, the low income rent or whatever is attached to that townhouse because it's project based. You don't have a voucher that you can relocate with. If you want to relocate from there, you don't, you know what I mean? That you don't carry that with you. So there you have it. If someone has a housing choice voucher, they can move after like a year or so of being in a specific location. They can move, and I think they can move to a different state also. So anyway, there's that. No one has to be set up for Section 8. You don't have to have a Section 8 house. And there's a big niche right now. I don't know if it's big, but I'm getting the videos coming to me because it's something that I was searching. But there is definitely a niche among these investors in wanting to invest in Section 8 housing. They want to buy, they're buying properties to specifically rent to Section 8 people so that they see that this income seems steady and quite profitable. And many are having somewhat positive experiences, but they're also talking about how they vet the tenants aggressively. One guy was saying like he even goes, like, besides checking credit and all that stuff, he actually sends a property manager over to these people's previous location to see like what it looked like. And I'm like, damn, that's a little bit invasive, but I understand the logic behind it, obviously. But that's generally why people contact your previous landlord anyways. I don't know. All right, I just wanted to say that. Good morning.